There is no place, absolutely no place that isn't holy, that isn't filled with the divine. But what we have in our human experience is the ability to put blinders on, to turn our back to recognizing it, to call something bad, evil, wrong, troubled. And in doing that, because we are invested with this power of this human experience, we create it. We create the bad in our thinking. It's not supposed to be that way. They shouldn't behave that way. That's evil incarnate. When it is just a mistake. A sin, you would hear in traditional scripture, and we've talked about this before. Sin is actually an archery term. It means missing the mark. Oh, that's all it means, is someone made a mistake. But sometimes we, in our self-righteousness, and I speak for myself, can make someone else's mistake a fatal flaw. And when I make them fatally flawed, I step out of my own experience of their wholeness and my own wholeness. Because if they're fatally flawed, it probably means I am too. Right? And I've stepped out of the serenity of knowing and understanding that we're all just doing our best. And we are all divine in expression. And I step out of the possibility of calling them up lovingly. Right? Lovingly. Brittany was just singing about it, about how love makes the difference. And next week we light the candle for love. We're doing it linearly, but it's not linear, right? They're all intertwined. They're all part of the wholeness of what we would call the Christ consciousness or the Buddha consciousness or the angel consciousness, Krishna consciousness, that heightened consciousness. So, real clear again, Christ, if you got triggered by me saying that, is not a person. Christ is a consciousness, a way of life. Jesus of Nazareth's name was not Jesus Christ. His name was Jesus of Nazareth, right? And he had physical parents who lived and walked on the earth. And like us, he also had divine lineage. And what he expressed was the epitome, according to some scriptures, of that Christ consciousness. But he's not the only one who can do it. He says in the Gospel of John, this, all that I do and more you shall do. Right? In his own words, according to the Gospel of John, but that's a whole other talk. But I digress. We all have that ability, because if he came to show the way and to be the light, what good is it unless all of us can take the same path and be the light? Of what good is it that one person would come and be the only one who could express this wholeness, this divinity, this healing, this miraculous? Well, we know that the miracles attributed to Jesus in the Gospels are performed every day in every hospital around the globe. The dead come to life. The blind see, right? The hearing have their hearing restored. The lame and the sick walk, get up off the mat, get out of the bed, and walk out. But there's also something more. What takes away my peace at certain moments, what takes away the serenity of the moment, is my belief that this is it. I gotta get it right now. And as I shared with you last week, there's a poem by our poet laureate, James Dillett Freeman. He was a Unity minister and a poet, and he also was the head of the Unity Divinity School. He's no longer on the planet, physically. But in his poem, The Traveler, beautifully scarred here, Marty, by one of the Hanukkah candles that fell over. Perfect little circle on it. There's a verse in the poem that goes, "Our life did not begin with birth and is not of this earth. And that which we call death is no more than the opening and closing of a door. And in your house, how many rooms must be beyond this one where we rest momentarily?" This journey we get to go on is for us. Nelson and I talk about this all the time. Right? This journey is for us. So the conflict, the pain, the struggle is for us. And when we come to it with that understanding that this is just no more than the opening and closing of a door, then anything we face, a diagnosis, the loss of a loved one, the loss of a relationship or a job, is just a change that we get to be serene in.